Let us see the next question. Mr. X is having 1 lakh shares of Messrs. K Limited. Beta of the company is 1.40. So the information is given that so the investment is made only in one security and its beta is 1.40. Mr. Y, a financial advisor, has suggested following the has suggested having the following portfolio. So the information is given that say Mr. Y, financial advisor, has suggested that say you churn your portfolio, you reshuffle your portfolio like this. You make investment in these four securities SKPD. Its beta information is given 1.2, 0.75, 0.4 and 1.4 percentage of the holding. So you should hold 10% of the investment in S, 10% in K and so on. RM is given 12%, RF is given 8%. You are required to calculate the following for the present investment and for the suggested portfolio. Present investment is consisting of only one security and proposed investment is say having four securities in which you will invest. What is the expected return based on CAPM? And also, if market goes up by 2.5%, market goes down by 2.5%, market gives negative return of 2.5%. So we are required to make the computation of a kind of required rate of return based on CAPM. That is what say we are required to calculate for present and for the proposed investment. Then second part of the question is given that we are going to understand later on. I request all of you to go through the question please. So friends, over here the question says that you are required to make the computation that what is the expected return say based on CAPM. That is the question. And also means first of all you are required to compute the expected rate of return taking into account the existing information, wherein RM is 12, RF is 8. As far as the existing investment is concerned, in that you have made investment only in one security. So it is RM minus RF, that is 4 into 1.4. That is the way we will compute the beta into RM minus RF. That will be added to RF to compute the required rate of return. In respect of the portfolio, either you can compute the required rate of return for the individual portfolio and then you do weighted average, or otherwise what we can do simply friends, we can make the computation of the beta of the portfolio. Whatever the beta of the portfolio that say we compute, taking that into account, we can compute the required rate of return based on CAPM. So first of all, I suggest that say we start doing the answer by calculating beta of the portfolio. So let us answer. Working note number 1. Calculation of beta of proposed portfolio. So in that we understand investment in SKPD, weight or proportion, beta, weight into beta. That is the way the weighted average will be calculated. It will be S, K, P and D. The proportion in which investment is made is 0.10, 0.10, 0.30 and 0.50. Beta, it is 1.20, 0.75, 0.40 and lastly it is 1.40. So weight into beta, 0.1 into 1.2, that is 0.12, 0.1 into 0.75, 0.075, 0.3 into 0.4, 0.12, 0.5 into 1.4, that is 0.70. So it is 1.015. That is the way the beta of the portfolio can be calculated. Now next, calculation of required rate of return. It is RF plus beta into RM minus RF. What is the risk-free rate of return? It is 8 plus beta into 12 minus 8. So it is 8 plus beta into 4. We have got existing beta as 1.4 because investment is made only in one security. And proposed beta is 1.015. So this is 1.40 and this is 1.015. So what will happen? It is 8 plus 4 into 1.40. 8 plus 5.6. That comes to 13.6. The next one, it is 8 once again plus 1.015 into 4. 8 plus 4.06. That comes to 12.06. That is the way we can make the computation of the required rate of return of the existing and the proposed portfolio. Now, one by one, let us start with the questions. What is the expected return if the market return goes up by 2.5 percentage? So right now it is 12. 12 plus 2.5, that comes to 14.5. So making the calculation once again, calculation of required rate of return, comma, if RM is 14.5 percentage. How it is 14.5? It is 12 plus 2.5. Again, we are required to do answer for both, for existing and for the new one, that is proposed portfolio. As far as the existing is concerned and proposed is concerned, we'll have working like this. It is 8 plus beta is 1.4 into RM minus RF. 14.5 minus 8. So 8 plus 1.4 into 6.5. 8 plus 1.4 into 6.5. So it is 9.1. So it is 17.1. For the proposed one, it is again 8 plus 1.015 into 14.5 minus 8. So 8 plus 1.015 into 6.5. So it is 8 plus 6.5975, or we can say 6.60. So 14.60. This is the way you can compute. Or otherwise, friends, what we already have understood is, let's say this is 14.5. Sorry, this is 1.4. So what will happen? You can have a working like this. This is 13.6. 13.6 plus 2.5 into 1.4. If the market return increases by 2.5 percentage, which has beta 1, my security has, that is my portfolio has beta 1.4 because only one security is there in my portfolio. So the return of my portfolio should increase proportionately. 2.5 into 1.4, that comes to 3.5 plus 13.6. So it comes to 17.1. Same way over here, it is 12.06, yes, plus 2.5 into 1.015. So 2.5 into 1.015, that comes to 2.5375 plus 12.06. So 14.5975, that comes to 14.6. That is also the way you can make the calculation of answer. Next, second part of the question. If the market goes down by 2.5%. So answer of the second part of the question. Okay, in the first question, second, if RM reduces to 9.5%. How this 9.5 is calculated? 12 minus 2.5. We understand that so the required rate of return is equal to RF plus beta into RM minus RF. Risk-free rate of return is given to us as 8. It is going to remain same. Beta into RM is 9.5 and RF is 8. So it is 8 plus 1.50 into beta. Again, we have been provided with the information like this. Beta is 1.4 and beta is 1.015. So it is 8 plus 1.5 into 1.4. So 2.1 plus 8, that comes to 10.1. Again, you can understand like this. Exactly the same equation. 13.6, this time minus. Why? Because the return is falling down. 2.5 into 1.4. So use your calculator. 2.5 into 1.4. 3.5 is subtracted from 13.6. On the other hand, friends, in examination you can do either of the working. It is absolutely valid. 1.5 into 1.015. 1.5 into 1.015, that comes to 1.5225 plus 8. So 9.5225. So 9.52 I am writing. Again, the shortcut working I am just writing over here. 12.06 minus 2.5 into 1.4. 2.5 into 1.4. So 3.5 is subtracted from 12.06. Sorry, this is 1.015. 1.015. So 2.5 into 1.015, that is 2.5375 is deducted from 12.06. So 9.5225, so it is 9.52%. This is the way we do answer. Next, third question. If the market gives negative return of 2.5%. So answer for the third question. In that, required rate of return is equal to, again, RF plus beta into RM minus RF. Risk-free rate of return is 8% plus beta. This time RM is given negative 2.5%. That is, return on the market portfolio is negative. Minus 8. 8 plus. So it is negative 2, that is 10.5. So minus 10.50 into beta. So now we understand. Again, we can make the calculation like this. For beta 1.40 and for beta 1.015. RF is 8 minus 10.5 into 1.4. 8 minus 10.5 into 1.4. That is 14.7. So in that case, what will happen? We understand that say it is 8 minus 14.7. That comes to negative 6.7. So of course the market is not able to give the return. Then in that case you are expecting, you are happy if at all your portfolio is giving a negative return of 6.7%. And this is the interpretation of the CAPM, which is fairly correct. Again, for the next one, 8 minus 10.50 into 1.015. 8 minus 3.857. So I'm writing 3.86. Sorry, 10.65, 10.6575. So 10.66. So negative 2.66%. This is the way we will be having the required rate of return based on CAPM. If at all you want to go with this kind of formula, then again you can do it. So it is like 13.6 minus. Understand that so the return on the market portfolio was 12 in our original calculation. Now it reduces to negative 2.5. So there is a reduction by 14.5. So 14.5 into 1.4. So use a calculator. 14.5 into 1.4, that comes to 20.3. It is subtracted from 13.6. You get 6.7. Same is the case over here. 12.06 minus again 14.5 into 1.015. It comes to 14.72. That is deducted from 12.06. So 2.66 negative. This is the way we can make the calculation of answer. I just repeat my explanation over here for all these calculations that we have done. Let's say, see, beta of my investment, that is only one security in which I have made investment, is 1.40. If at all the RM is 12%, I am expecting a return of 13.6. The return on the market portfolio increases by 2.5. Then beta of the market is 1. So return of the securities having beta 1 increases by 2.5. So 2.5 into 1.4. I am expecting proportionate increase in my return also by 3.5. So this 3.5 is added to 13.6 to compute the revised required rate of return. Same is the case applicable over here. Then market return reduces, then you are expecting the same reduction in a way that's over here 2.5 into 1.4. So 3.5 is reduced from 13.6. That is the way it is 10.1. Importantly, when the return on the market portfolio reduces from 12 positive to negative 2.5, it means it reduces by 14.5. Then in that case, you are expecting, so the reduction of 14.5 into 1.4, 20.3 from 13.6. And this is the way you are expecting the negative return. Understand carefully, if at all there is a negative return in the market, then in that case, you are also expecting, say, your portfolio, your security to have the negative return if at all the beta of your investment is positive. See, in this exceptional situation where the RM is negative 2.5, we will have a kind of diagram like this. On x-axis we have beta and on y-axis we have the return. beta is 0, the required rate of return is equal to the RF. So now what will happen? With the increase in the beta, the required rate of return will fall down like this. It will go in this direction. Why? Because the return on the market portfolio is negative. So when the beta is 1, at that point of time, the required rate of return is negative 2.5%, like this. This is negative 2.5%. This is an exceptional situation that we have. If at all the beta is negative 1.4, beta is 1.40, in that case the required rate of return will be further less. This is negative 2.5 and this is negative 6.7. This is an exceptional situation that we have, but in that case, say we will be having this kind of diagram. Next question. If the probability of the market giving negative return is more, please advise Mr. X whether to continue the holding Messrs K Limited or buy the portfolio as per the suggestion of Mr. Y. If so, what is the reason? So here basically the question says that say what you should do if at all you are expecting the market to have the negative return. The answer is very simple. What you can see, we can see that say in both the cases the returns are negative, but yet the proposed investment is having lower negative return. So between these two, the lower negative return is better. We can say that say logically in this situation it is better to invest in the risk-free rate of return. Why? Because at least it will give the positive return. But the question says that so you are required to select either the existing portfolio or the proposed portfolio. Then in that case we will advise to go for the proposed portfolio because it has comparatively lower negative return. Let us answer the second question. If expectation is about negative market return comma, in that case investment should be made in proposed portfolio. Because it has comparatively lower negative return. Full stop. This is the way we have to write answer.